A very good morning to all of you. Myself, Professor Dhaval Chandarana, and welcome back on the world of cyber law and the ethics. I know we are discussing so many things in unit number 2, and currently we will discuss some another stuffs in unit number 2. So we'll discuss the same things which is part of your cyber law and ethics subject. Guys, as previously on my third lecture of unit number 2, we will discuss some of the important algorithm which will really implemented on a regular day-to-day life. We can say it is known as a cryptographical algorithm. And guys, in this particular third lecture, you see lots of different example, lots of algorithm name, and how the practically it should be implemented, which we will discuss in our previous lecture. Guys, it is the most important thing whenever we discuss anything regarding a security concept. When we discuss anything regarding a data security, it is must be required to know how the data should be secure from ourselves or with the help of a different technique. So guys, a previous lecture, it is the very important in things of Informations Technology Act, because the concept is behind how to secure your data with help of a different algorithm. Guys, today we will discuss the fourth lecture of unit number 2. In this particular lecture, we will focus on the three different concepts which is mentioned on your screen: a public key cryptography, private key cryptography, and the electronic governance. Guys, before I will start my today's lecture, I will just revise you what is a cryptography, how it is really helpful to secure your data, how you can use these cryptographical techniques with a reference of your data security as well as in network security. So guys, whenever we discuss the word cryptography, it is nothing but you can decrypt your original message or your data in form of message, in form of text, in form of audio, video, and whatever your data in form of. But in the form of soft data, you must be decrypt your data or encrypt your data with the help of cryptographical techniques. It is just the technique through which you can secure your informations and provide the communications between a authenticated party so they can directly access your informations with help of some fundamental things which we have discussed in our previous lecture. So cryptography is nothing but you convert your original message into a different a secure channel, and for that we will discuss lots of algorithm. If you have doubt anything regarding a cryptography, any other algorithm which will implemented in a cryptographical on a day-to-day life, please refer my previous lecture. So guys, we will start with the today's lecture with a public key cryptography. What is a public cryptography? As we know that in a previous lecture we will discuss there are the two different part in form of cryptography. It is nothing but a public and private. And today we will start with the public key cryptography. Just we discuss with the definition. A public key cryptography use a pair of key to encrypt and the decrypt data to protect it against unauthorized access or the use. Because we know that now what is the requirement of cryptography is nothing but to provide a security against your private data from unauthorized uses. Whenever we discuss anything about a cryptography, there are the two fundamental things, or we can say the basic things which we learn about a cryptography is encryptions and decryptions. And whenever we discuss encryption and decryptions, the combined process is known as a cryptography. The encryption process has been happen on the sender sides who can originate of the message, and a decryption process will be happen on the receiver side who can receive the message in form of a decrypted data. This key is used to encrypt the message and to send it to the recipients. Reception means nothing but a receiver sides. When the message arrive, the recipients decrypt the using a private key to which no one else has access, because it is a decrypt via only a private key who can share with the initiator, or we can say a sender. So there are the two fundamental things whenever we discuss a public key cryptography, we must be aware about in this process of encryption and decryptions, the message should be conversions in form of a original message to the ciphertext. It is the unreadable form. On the both the party use a different key. That's why a public key cryptography is a much secure than the private key, because it is known as a pair of key. For this they have required some public and a private key concept. Now we understand how the key used in a public key cryptography with the help of example. So in a particular screen you seen that a particular diagram, they have a blue and a magenta color key. A blue key is known as a public key and the magenta color key is known as a private key. For this a sender and recipients are there, and whenever a sender send a sum of the message, first the message in form of plain text in form of original message. Encryption process happen, they can select a sum of the encryption algorithm which we have seen in our previous lecture. With help of a public key, they can they have encrypt your message and send to the a ciphertext to the particular receiver process. At the receiver end, they are getting some ciphertext message. Ciphertext, it is the secure message. At the receiver end, they perform the decryption process with help of a private key. It is only and only happen if you have an authorized person and you have a private key. Then a process of decryptions requires some the identifications of algorithm which is happening on the encryption hand. So they can select a decryption algorithm, and with help of a private key they can decrypt the ciphertext and getting the original message. So guys, it is the concept behind the secure your data with help of a public key cryptography. I hope you are understand. Now we discuss what is a private key cryptography. Private key encryption is the form of encryptions where only a single private key can encrypt and the decrypt informations. As a compare, we can say that if we are going with the use of security of our data with help of public key cryptography, we require two key. One is public and one is a private. But if we get the informations to be secure with help of private key cryptography, we just require a one key through which we can perform both the process encryptions and a decryption informations. It is a faster process since it is use a single key, because there is no requirement to generate a two key before any kind of encryption decryption process. They have required only one key to share with a recipients and the sender. However, protecting one key creates a key management issue when everyone is using a private key. So it is the process to generate some private key and share among all the users who are the authorized and who are become a receiver at the time of communications. So it is the process how to perform a private key cryptography with help of single key. So the sender and the receptionist, sender send a message known as a plain text with help of encryption algorithm, and a secret key is part of encryption's data with help of a secret key. And one of the example we can see is a previous one, it is known as a private key. So with help of a combinations of one of the encryption algorithm and encryption key, it is known as a secret key. They generate your ciphertext data, and after send this ciphertext data to the receiver end or reception's end. At the receiver end, they open up message with help of a decryption algorithm and a secret key who can share with the all authorized users. And after decryption process, they can decrypt a message and generate the original plain text at the receiver end. So guys, whenever we compare the cryptographical method, you must be remember that they have a two different types on the basis concept, a public key cryptography and a private key cryptography. Whenever we discuss a public key cryptography, you just remember they have used a two different key for encryption and a decryption. They can use a public private key cryptography. And whenever we discuss a private key cryptography, they share only one key among all the senders and the receivers, and with help of a single key they done all the process, we can say encryption and decryption process. So it is the way to justify how a cryptographic algorithm will be used to secure your message. Last thing which we are discussing for the today's lecture is e-governance. What is e-governance and how it's helpful to secure your data in form of Information Technology Act. So we will discuss the e-governance. It's nothing but a electronic governance, or the e-governance is the applications of IT delivering the government services, exchange of informations, communication transactions, integrations of various stand-alone systems between the governments to a citizens. It becomes a G2C model. Government to business, it's become a G2B model. Government to government, it's become a G2G model. Government to employee, it's become a G2E model, as well as back office process and the interactions within the entire government frameworks. So whenever we discuss e-governance, is nothing but to provide a document in form of soft copy who are authorized by the governments, which is defined by the Indian government. So whenever we use, or whenever they are using our information in form of soft copy, like Aadhaar card, they have used our Aadhaar card in form of LPG gas link, banking transactions, IT returns, and lots of way. If you are an authorized Indian person, you must be have one of the Aadhaar card, and with help of all the links with the different services, they can use a different models. So it is this model through which a government will be criticize our data and signifies of all the information with help of this single informations or single document. It's nothing but the electronic governance, or we can say e-governance, with help of different model which is defined by G2C, G2B, G2G and G2E. Everything will be shot out with a different requirement. Through the e-governance, government services are made available to citizens in a convenience, efficient and the transparent manner, because it is always be acceptable by all other model. Like whenever we discuss about a medical emergency, at that time we government provides some of the cards, and it is known as a Ma Amrutam card. So if your family is have any kind of medical issue, then they provide up to 5 lakh rupees for 1 years for the all families. So it is one of the government policies through e-governance. Citizens of Indian, they can take some rewards which is helpful by the government, and it is a very convenient, efficient, transparent manner, because everyone knows how the particular process will be happen, how the card will be issued, and how it should be helpful in any kind of medical emergencies. It is one kind of card through which you can protect your family up to the 5 lakhs in a 1 year. So it is very helpful for all the peoples of India, and it is really great service provided by the Indian governments. The three main target groups that can be distinguished in a governance concept are government, citizens and a business or integrated groups. Like I will just give you one example, your voter ID. It is one of the best example of a e-governance. Whenever you can verify your citizenship of the Indian, you must be require some of the identity which is provided by or which is authorized by the Indian government. It is one of the example of e-governance. In e-governance, there are the no distinctions boundary, because it is always be acceptable in all over India. What are the different advantage we will discuss in this particular slide? First one is speed, because we know that nowadays a document verification is very faster due to some a cyberspace as well as a soft copy data like a QR code. It is very helpful to find out some of the data. It's very easy to sort out the informations. You can getting all the information within a single click which is available on the internet. So it is a very speed. The technology make a communication swifter. Internet, smartphone have enabled instant transmissions of higher volume of data all over the world, because it is the actual requirement nowadays. We don't move to our home and we can getting all the services within our chair. It is nothing but a new era of a technology, and it is a actual concept required nowadays. Second one is saving cost, because we are saving a lots of cost using different services without going to outside of home, like food services, recharge, banking, transactions, loan, and lots of things we will purchase within a particular single click, which is happening on our mobile phone. So we are not going to outside of home, and it is in any kind of pandemic situation or critical situation, we can easily getting all the information within our single click. So it is save so many cost with help of e-governance. A lot the government expeditions goes toward the cost of buying stationery for the official purpose. Letter and written records consume a lot of stationery. However, replacing them with the smartphone and the internet can be saved crores of money in the expense every year, because on a previous back to 10 years, every government office have a lots of stationery. They can use everything on a paper, but nowadays they are transferring all the paper documents in form to soft copy. So it's take a lot of storage capacity. They can store so many amount of data within the 2 to 6 inch hard disk, and they can save lots of time, lots of money, and lots of speed with help of e-governance. Then a transparency, one of the best advantage whenever we discuss any of the e-governance is a transparency. Means every client and the owner will be transparent communications between both the parties, and it should be displayed on your side as well as on your owner sides. The use of e-governance helps make all the functions of the business transparent, because everyone knows what was the situation is and how the situation will be handled it out. All the governmental informations can be uploaded onto the internet. I will just give you the example. In Gujarat, in a specific high court, they have a website through which you can check your claim status which is happening on the high courts. So you can check your status against your complaints, and it is nothing but a transparency against a e-governance. The citizens specifically access whichever informations they want, like ITR. It is one of the things which we know that how the transparency is happening on in India. Whenever you find out any kind of information, you just perform some form. It is nothing but a 10 rupees form. It should be available on online. Every information you must be know, or you must be aware about that. You can definitely get in within the 15 days. It is one of the rules, and it is nothing but a transparency will be happen in our India. Whenever they want it at the click of mouse or touch on the finger. It is nothing but a technological era. So it is the transparency take a more advantageous concept in form of e-governance. However, for this to work, the government has to ensure that all data has to be made up public and uploaded to the government information form on the internet. Guys, I will also give one of the example, like a digital locker. On a previous 1 to 2 years, whenever you traveling, you must be require your license with your hard copy. But in the form of a e-governance, if you are using a digital locker which is provided by the government India, it is authorized by the government India. If you see your license RC book in form of soft copy, which is part of a digital locker, it is valid in all over the India. So if you left it out at your home in form of hard copy, it should always be acceptable in any of the Indian government, Indian area. So it is nothing but a transparency system which is provided by the Indian governments. So it is the advantage we will discuss in form of e-governments. Now we discuss the last thing on this particular lecture. It is nothing but a disadvantage of e-governance, because every technology has some advantage and a disadvantage. Loss of interpersonal communications, because whenever we found a transparency in our data, maybe somehow a loss of interpersonal communication will be happen, means your data is not be as much as secure. The main disadvantage of e-governance is the loss of interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is an aspect of a communications that many people considers as a vital, like our personal informations like Aadhaar card number, mobile number, PAN card informations and voter card ID information may be leaked or may be hacked if some of the hacker can hack a government server. So they have misuse all the information whenever they want. They can getting all the banking information then whenever they want, and they can getting all the personal data and misuse in form of our personal informations. So it is a very helpful to convert your all the information in form of e-governance, but somehow you must be manage a security against all the data, otherwise a loss of interpersonal communication will be happen. Second one is high setup cost and the technical difficulties, because whenever you are converting your data in form of a technological world, you must be identified that some of the technical difficulties will be happen, because somehow it is a technology, and whenever we discuss any technology, a technical difficulties will be there. Like on a previous note, whenever we going to the bank, they have never answered that a data server is a low or server is not working. But nowadays, on every third days, whenever you have found any kind of transactions or any banking system, all the employee must be go with the same answer. If they have not doing anything, they have just answered these questions, the server is not working, and we definitely accept those answer because we don't know server is working or server is not working. But everything should be happen within the servers, so it is nothing but a technical difficulties. Like whenever we are going to the ATM is temporarily unavailable, so it is nothing but a technical difficulties, and we need to happen with those kind of technical difficulties. Technology has its disadvantage as well, because we know that specifically the setup cost is a very high, and the machines have to be a regulated maintained. If it is not happening, then a technical difficulty is always be there. It must be there if your regular maintenance will be not happen. Often a computer and the internet can also break down and put a date in the governmental work and the services. As a previous example, ATM is not working, server is down, and because of those kind of things which should be happen with the help of internet, if internet is not working, then every services will be goes down. So it is one of the drawback of e-governance. And the last thing, it is a literacy. What is literacy? The larger number of people in India are illiterate and do not know how to operate the computer and a smartphone. Whenever a government apply any of the policy in form of e-governance, they must be known or aware about that how the policy should be introduced on those kind of area where a literacy will be higher, like uneducated peoples. Literacy is nothing but not aware about those kind of technology, technical fields, and they are not accepting those kind of technical things, which is because of a literacy, like online transactions, QR code verifications, UPI. It is always be right now is there, but some of the literacy happened. People who are become not informed literacy, they will always be acceptable, but our India will be have a larger amount of literacy in our particular country. So because of that, a particular new technological e-governance system is failed until a literacy should be not solved out. So the e-governance is a very difficult for them to access and understand, and they are not accepting those kind of thing because they have not trust on this particular e-governance. So the literacy is one of the biggest disadvantage on nowadays with e-governance. So guys, it is the things which we are discussing for the today's lecture is we will discuss through three important points in this particular lecture. First one is a public cryptography, private key cryptography, and a last one we will discuss e-governance with help of some pros and cons. I hope you are enjoying learning so many new concepts which we are discussing throughout this video lecture, and I hope you are seeing all the previous video and the current videos, so it is very benefit for your subject point of view as well as on exam point of view. Thank you so much.